borders. They are the protective arms wrapped around our people and our land to stop foreign threats and protect against enemies. They mark our place and stake out our ground as a people and country. But in 9 years, the NDP Liberals have lost control of our borders, letting drugs, guns, and terrorists threaten our people. Part is incompetence, but part is the radical Liberal agenda, a borderless, globalist, post-national agenda. Post-national is the word that Justin Trudeau used. All of this done with the advice and support of his top economic advisor, Mark Carney, who calls himself a European. And here are the facts. Fact, after 9 years of Liberals, gun-related crime is up 116%, with the Toronto Police Association saying that 85% of gun offences use illegal firearms from the United States. Fact, the Liberal government only inspects 1% of shipping containers coming into our country, allowing drugs and guns to sneak through the other 99%. Fact, the Liberals let multiple ISIS terrorists enter into Canada, including a man who was allegedly filmed cutting up a human body on a crucifix in the Middle East. The same man is now charged for planning a terrorist attack in Canada. Fact, the Liberal government admits it has lost count of the number of people who are here illegally. But they say in one of their own reports that it's somewhere between 20,000 and 500,000. But they say it could be more. How reassuring. And then there are the drug deaths. 49,000 Canadians have lost their lives to opioid overdoses in the last 9 years. More than died fighting for Canada in the Second World War. Can you imagine that? That was a war, and it killed fewer people than have died in Canada to opioids under this Liberal government. Opioid deaths are up over 200%. The radical drug liberalization, whereby the NDP Liberals legalized the use of fentanyl in Canada, has been yet another deadly experiment. Most of the ingredients come from China and Mexico, and yet our government cannot stop them at the border. Fact, Canadian Security Services identified 350 organized crime rings operating within our border. 63 of these groups have international connections to China, Mexico, and other nations. Fact, in British Columbia, police recently discovered a super lab containing enough fentanyl and materials to kill 95 million people. In the year leading up to September 2024, U.S. border agents seized 11,600 pounds of drugs coming from Canada. Fentanyl seizures tripled between 2023 and 2024. Our neighbors have noticed. President Trump has raised concerns, and he has wrongly used this risk as a rationale for tariffs. These tariffs are unjustified and they are wrong. The United States needs to do more on its border, and so do we. But frankly, it should not take a foreign leader to get our government to reverse its deadly policies that are killing our people. It is not for President Trump or any other foreign leader that I want to stop fentanyl in my country. It's so that not one more mother has to bury her face in her hands in the terrible agony of learning her son died in a back alley somewhere from this poison. And that is why I will take back control of Canada's borders. My common sense, Canada First plan should immediately be adopted by Parliament. We must recall Parliament now and put Liberal Party power struggles aside so that we can adopt this plan to save our people and secure our borders. The plan: immediately deploy military troops, helicopters, and surveillance to the border to spot and intercept risks. As the recent remarks by the Canadian Forces Chief of the Defence Staff, General Jenny Kerrigan, offered earlier this month, we can deploy military assets into the sky, whether helicopters or other surveillance tools, and we should do so. In fact, we should have done so long ago. 2, expand the powers of CBSA border agents to patrol everywhere along the border, not just at official border crossings. 3, hire 2,000, at least 2,000, new CBSA agents to intercept illegal crossers, drugs, guns, and other dangerous law-breaking. 4, install high-powered scanners at all major land crossings and shipping ports. These scanners can see through the walls of containers and vehicles to spot drugs, guns, and stolen cars. 5, build border surveillance towers that we can deploy on and use to scan the landscape and detect incursions. Also, deploy truck-mounted drone systems that can spot incursions from the sky. 6, track departures. We should keep track of who's leaving so that we know which deportees are still in our country. As I said at the outset, the government amazingly doesn't know how many people are here illegally. How are we supposed to protect our borders when there could be over 500,000 people inside those borders illegally, according to the government's own admissions? We will pay for the Canada First border plan by scrapping the Liberal gun buyback and cutting bureaucracy. The gun buyback, actually I should call it the gun grab, has been completely ineffective. They've spent $60 million and they admit it has not recovered a single gun. Meanwhile, even if they did get guns from this plan, according to the supporters of gun control, the main lobby group supporting gun control, the people who give their guns in would just take the payment they receive to buy other guns that are very similar in nature. Finally, the gun buyback targets licensed, law-abiding, trained and tested hunters, off-duty police officers, and other highly trained professionals who are of no risk. Obviously, no criminal is going to participate in a gun grab with the government. It will only be law-abiding people. The police do not support this gun grab. In fact, they say that 85% of guns used in crime in Toronto are illegal guns that come in through the border. So let's stop the gangsters and gun smugglers. I want to protect Canadians from criminals. Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney want to protect turkeys from hunters. We're also going to cut billions of dollars in pricey consultants and phase out thousands of back-office bureaucratic jobs through attrition. Less bureaucracy and waste, more boots on the ground, and more drones, choppers, and surveillance in the sky. We'll let lawful people and goods come in. We'll keep drugs, terrorists, and other threats out. And we'll save trade with the United States. But it's funny, here we are trying to save our trade with another country while we can't even trade with ourselves. And that's why earlier this morning, I announced a Canada First plan to bring free trade between our provinces, allow our truckers and our entrepreneurs to move goods and services affordably to our people, something that could boost average family income by $6,000 a year and reduce our helpless dependence on the United States. Isn't it incredible that after 9 years of Liberals, it's either easier for criminals to bring drugs and guns illegally over Canada's border than it is for our entrepreneurs to bring their products over provincial borders. Let's fix that. Let's knock down these barriers. Let's have a truly free trading, free market Canadian economy that's capable of standing on its own 2 feet. Let's do that, not to appeal to any foreign leader, but to put Canadians back in charge of their lives and their country. Let us restore the Canadian promise that anyone from anywhere can do anything, that hard work gets you a powerful paycheck and pension that buys affordable food and homes in safe neighborhoods, protected by strong borders under a proud flag that represents the freest nation on earth. Canada. Canada here, Canada now, Canada forever. Let's bring it home.
Thank you. We'll now take questions from the floor.
Hi, Jared Yeager here from the Western Standard. Just English is fine. What message does it send that Mexico got a 1-month pause before Canada? And do you think Trudeau's call with Trump today will yield a similar result?
Unfortunately, I wasn't on the call, so I can't tell you anything about how it went. But what I can say is that we need a Canada First agenda that will protect us against these unfair and unjustifiable tariffs. And that Canada First plan must include retaliatory tariffs to deter the attacks on our economy. It must include a strong border to protect our people against drugs, guns, and terrorists. It must include a bring-it-home tax cut and red tape cut so that we can reward hard work, bring home billions of dollars of investment, develop our own resources, and it must include free trade among our own provinces. That is how we become stronger, more self-reliant, and less hopelessly dependent on foreign powers and foreign governments.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, Michelle Gassoub, CBC, and if we could get an answer in French as well, please.
You're not going to ask me to step aside and let the Liberals stay in power through to eternity, as your CBC colleague said yesterday.
You've called on the Prime Minister to bring
No.
back Parliament and pass your plan to counter Donald Trump's tariffs. Does that mean you're willing to work with other parties to come up with an agreed-upon plan before voting non-confidence and bringing down the government?
Well, of course, we can't do any of those things because Justin Trudeau and the Liberals have shut Parliament. Parliament is closed. You should direct your question to the Liberals. Why, in the middle of this crisis, have the Liberal Party powers put themselves ahead of Canadians? They're in the middle of a Liberal Party power struggle. Again, concerned about themselves, their own self-interest, rather than immediately recalling Parliament so that we can pass a Canada First plan like the one I've just laid out.
En français.
Merci beaucoup. Les libéraux ont fermé le Parlement, donc c'est impossible de voter sur un plan pour mettre le Canada d'abord. Il n'y a pas de Parlement dans lequel on peut voter. Les libéraux se sont mis avant le pays. C'est pour M. Trudeau, M. Carney, Mme Freeland, c'est le Parti libéral d'abord. Ça devrait être le Canada d'abord. On devrait être à la Chambre des communes, travaillant pour résoudre la crise commerciale qu'impose injustifiablement M. Trump sur notre pays. Donc, moi, je veux que le Parlement retourne maintenant afin d'adopter un plan Canada d'abord. Ça va protéger nos frontières, permettre le libre-échange entre les provinces, faire des représailles contre l'économie américaine, donner le feu vert aux grands projets de ressources naturelles, y compris GNL Québec, et renforcer notre économie pour qu'on puisse être fort face aux menaces et aux tarifs de l'étranger.
Thank you. Next question.
Hi, Thomas Seal from Bloomberg. Yesterday, Elizabeth May said that on the federal leaders' call, the Prime Minister said it had become increasingly clear that there was no evidence or further actions on border security that would make any difference. Trump would only double down. Today, Trump is talking about market access for US banks. So what's your understanding of Trump's ultimate goal here, and should concessions like more market access for US companies be on the table?
You'd have to ask President Trump what his goals are. He's said he wants to put America first. Well, I will put Canada first. We need a Canada First plan that's good for this country. We need to protect our borders, not to please any other foreign leader. I've been calling to reinforce our border for about 8 years now. I was the first to come out and demand a closure of Roxham Road, where tens of thousands of people entered illegally. I was then the one who forced Justin Trudeau through an ultimatum to finally close Roxham Road. I called for scanners to be put in at all of our ports well over a year ago in order to intercept drugs, guns, and other contraband. I've been saying that we need to have strong borders for years, And I haven't been doing that to please anyone in the White House. I've been doing it to save the lives of our people. That is what it means to put Canada first.
Thank you. This will be the final question.
Aaron McCarthy, Global News. Much of what you've said is going to require resources. How much would a Conservative government spend on defence priorities in the first year?
Well, I've already said that we're going to use the dollar-for-dollar principle, which is to cut waste in order to fund stronger borders. And I gave very tangible examples. We will save $600 million by getting rid of the ridiculous gun grab that has not taken a single firearm off the street and goes after licensed, law-abiding, trained and tested hunters and sport shooters. And we will use that money for frontline borders. Second, we will reduce the size of the federal back office bureaucracy. There are roughly 17,000 bureaucrats that voluntarily retire every single year. I'm not going to replace them all. And through that powerful mathematics of attrition, we will reduce the morbidly obese back office bureaucracy that has grown by 50% in a decade, and we'll put that money into frontline, boots on the ground, drones, helicopters, and other surveillance in the sky. Dollar for dollar. Whenever I bring in new spending, it will be matched by $1 of savings. That's how single moms, seniors, and small businesses run their finances. It's how I will run the government.
You haven't said anything about annexation.
Thank you very much.
You haven't said anything.
I actually have.
Not today.
Sorry, false information.
Not
Is this, the CBC managed to get in here again?
I'm CP.
All right.
You haven't said anything about annexation. Is any of your broader plan to protect against America coming over the border to annex us?
Canada is an independent country. We will never be the 51st state, and we will have a strong and independent country. And by the way, my Canada First plan will make us more independent and less reliant on the Americans, unlike Mr. Carney, Mr. Trudeau, who have made us helpless facing the Americans. They blocked pipelines, blocked LNG plants. They made us totally helpless on the Americans. And frankly, if I have some advice for President Trump, I'll tell you what it is. He should be sending a big bouquet of flowers to Mark Carney for blocking the Northern Gateway pipeline, to Justin Trudeau for killing the Energy East pipeline, and to all the Liberals for killing our LNG liquefaction plants that would have given us other markets, because President Trump has been given an incredible gift by these radical anti-development Liberals when they blocked the projects that would have made us more self-reliant. I will make our economy more self-reliant. We will take back control of our lives. We will put our country first. Thank you.